Hello everybody and welcome to another Battleground Games Live! Welcome to the Loft in Battleground Games and Hobbies in Abington, Massachusetts. I am Andrew and I am accompanied by the person obscured by this lamp.
Hello.
That's Allie. And we are starting a new program. This is going to be a short program, probably 4, maybe 5 episodes, Monday afternoons from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern. And we have entitled it Newplay 40K, as indicated by the screen right there. And what's going to be happening is, all right, I have never played Warhammer 40K. I have never built a model. I have never played the game. I've watched people playing. And Allie is our resident Warhammer 40K organizer. So she does all the organization and stuff for, or much of it, for the Abington location of Battleground.
And now I do Norton tournaments as
well.
well.
That's true, yeah, because you just did the big doubles thing in Norton.
Mm-hmm.
So Allie is going to offer me tips and tricks and advice as I build my first ever Warhammer 40K army, which is the folks that are in this little kill team box.
Fish goats.
The Tau Empire starter set. I chose Tau primarily because I thought they looked awesome. So that was my intention there. Ooh. Hello, hello, and welcome. I see we have somebody already in chat. I'm going to bring chat up on my phone so that I can see it better from here. Allie, can you see the monitor up there?
Yes.
Awesome. My glasses are not good enough to read it. So yeah, this is going to be me messing up all sorts of Warhammer 40K stuff, unless Allie can stop me.
I'll do my best.
No, that's fair. So like I said, I've never played Warhammer 40K before. I debated long and hard about what army I wanted to start with, because there's a lot of options out there and growing all the time. So because I've never played and don't really know that much about the mechanics, I know the basics of it, but I certainly don't know what army mechanically is going to work best with my play style, or even if I have a play style yet. So I chose based purely on looks. And the two armies that most appealed to me look-wise were the Tau and the, what are they, the Adaptes? The
Adeptus Mechanicus?
Mechanicus, yes. Where they have all sorts of cool little fiddly bits, and they're basically Borg.
They're basically Borg, yes.
So I wanted to do those, but I felt like as a starting army, it wouldn't be smart. I have painted armies a little bit and done some very, very basic assembly. I should have brought examples. I've played a couple of the Fantasy Flight miniature games. So I have painted up most of the starting box for Star Wars Legion, which was a lot of fun, and I did some of that on stream, so if you look at the YouTube links below, you'll be able to see those. And I've done some Rune Wars assembly and painting for the Fantasy Flight Rune Wars. But those are exceptionally simple models. They have like a maximum of 3 or 4 bits per model, and they don't require you to snap anything off sprues. They don't require much in the way of cleanup. They're very clean when you get them out of the little baggies that they come in. So I figured this would be a completely different sort of option for me. So is that Betbow 1223 says that they've only played Warhammer like once. So yeah, this is an introduction. So this will give you an idea of what's involved in building an army and what pitfalls you want to avoid, how to assemble an army. I've been spending some time reading through the Kill Team manual to try and get an idea of the mechanics. So one of the things that we talked about, Allie and I talked about before I even started this project, I had mentioned to Allie that I was concerned about building an army when there are so many options available, and as I open this up, you'll see what I'm talking about. And she said, this is a relatively inexpensive army. Don't sweat it. Build what you think is cool, and don't sweat it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just construct some stuff. I got myself a couple of accessories before starting today. I bought myself a artillery assembly handle, a Citadel assembly handle, because one of the things I have experienced, even in building exceptionally simple models, when we were doing stuff for, when I was building stuff for Star Wars Legion, was that you spend a lot of time holding things against other things, and since I'm trying to do this sort of within a reasonable amount of time because I'm streaming it, and because I want to be able to move on to the next thing while things are drying, I figured I'd grab one of these guys. It's got these cool little adjustable arms that you can clip onto stuff, and the idea is you can put your things together and then have this hold them together for you while they dry, and then your hands are free to do other stuff. So I bought one of those. I think that's awesome. I've got my side cutters, and I've got my knife, both of which I've had for a little while. So they're slightly beat up, but they should be up to the task. I did not get a mold line remover. I pondered it. I'm not sure
You can use an
what the
X-Acto
mold
knife.
line. Well, that's what I was thinking. I've heard that you can use the back of the X-Acto knife, just scrape backwards along the mold lines to remove them.
I use the sharp part.
You use the sharp part because you're daring. What happens if you cut too much off? Snoop a little bit too much.
As long as you hold it angled, it's usually not a problem.
Okay.
Because of the way the knife cuts. Because you're not holding too much pressure, you're just slightly pulling it. It's actually the same exact motion as if you were using the mold line remover.
Okay.
It's just faster.
Cool. And I have my Citadel plastic glue. We carry at Battleground, we carry Citadel plastic glue and we carry Zap-A-Gap. Both are excellent glues. I chose the plastic glue primarily because it has this handy stopper, which you can use to prevent the glue from drying. And since I paint and model very infrequently, I wanted to have some glue that wasn't going to dry out on me
We also
between
carry
models.
Army Painter.
We also carry Army Painter glue.
Yep. Yep, plastic glue.
Okay. So that's what I'm going to be using for gluing my army. And yeah, let's do it. Let's open the box. Allie, are you excited?
I am excited. I always like watching people start their new armies.
This is going to be so cool. So you can still see it's still wrapped in the plastic wrap. I'm gonna unbox it live on stream. And we'll see what's included in a Kill Team box. So the reason I chose to start with Kill Team for my first 40K army is it is a very accessible price point. A start collecting army box, I think it's $80, could be more, and it's got an awful lot of figures in it. And for a short program like this, I wanted to do something that's a little bit less expensive. This is a $60 box. And has a smaller squad. The whole idea behind Kill Team is that instead of building a massive, huge, sprawling army, you're building a few elite squaddies, a small unit that can get in and get out and do some damage quick. Oh man, I'm tearing the box like anything here. So yeah, it's intended to be played as a fast, small skirmish game. So, opening the box. And there's a convenient tray inside that holds some sprues. All right, so this sprue is terrain. I'm going to be donating this to the store, probably not building it on stream, but some Tau terrain is certainly welcome to the store. Some more terrain. Very good. I will probably try, I don't know. Allie's got a gun, a paint gun.
An airbrush.
An airbrush. For convenient painting of large surfaces. I think if I were to use my own paint brushes, this would take me a inordinately large amount of time just to get basic coverage on it. All right, what else is in the box? We've got this little plastic pack, which I've just opened and dumped stuff out of, that comes with some cards. So you've got your cards for your kill team. More cards. These are cards for the terrain, because terrain has rules. Got some bigger cards. The rules for a couple of scenarios that go with the terrain. Yep, secure the summit and light the beacons. The beacons are lit.
Now all it's time here. Mulan.
Got a small Tau Fire Warriors Kill Team manual that has information about the team and I guess a recommended loadout. Looks like Team Star Pulse. They have a little flavor bit in there to describe Team Star Pulse. Comes with a bunch of tokens, punch-out tokens. These are entirely optional, but as I've been reading through the Kill Team instructions, they seem to be good for beginning players because they help you keep track of what units have moved in a turn, what type of move you've used, like if you
readied in action.
Yeah, if you readied in action, or if you withdraw or charge or anything like that, which can change your ability to fire later. And then it's got this big thing, which has all the instructions for assembling your units. So this is the bit, like I said, that I am least familiar with, is assembling the units. Let's see, I've got some things on sprues. I've got stands for the drones, which are flyers, so they have clear stands to make them float above the battlefield. I understand that flyers can get around terrain very effectively.
Yes, they can.
Because when you're moving, you don't have to move up the terrain, you just basically ignore it. I've got some bases, one large base and several small bases, and 3 collections of bits. So that's reasonable. That's not an outrageous number of bits to manufacture.
I had more bits than that just putting the snows together.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, so Allie is working on this massive, beautiful knight, where she has done some limited customization, right? You replace the shields with shields from another model.
And he's covered in it's decent customization. He's covered in Space Hulk bits.
Cool. Now, I did not get a cutting board. Did you remember to bring a cutting board with you?
I did not bring it.
Okay,
because
I'll just have to be careful.
So covered in paint that it would not have been good.
Okay, that's fine. So, one of the things about Kill Team is that it is... Oh, gracious. We've lost our chat. That's fine. Oh, gracious. I'm sorry. One of the things about Kill Team is that because you're building a small squad, you do a lot of customization on each member of the squad. Am I right, Allie?
You are correct.
Reading through the manual, it's got a role-playing element to it, where you have your individuals who are members of the squad, and each of them has their own weapon loadout and their own advantages and disadvantages. So that's going to be the biggest challenge for me, I feel, is that I didn't read through the entire manual. I glanced at the Tau section, So I really don't know what I want to construct as I go into the actual construction of the little dudes. And if I look at the sprue here, I can see I've got, man, a whole bunch of heads, like a whole bunch of heads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 helmets. And I guess those are shoulders. I'll have to get into this a little bit more detailed by looking through the directions. Let's go to zoom cam, and I'll show off what I'm talking about with the sprues, with all the little bits. So here you can see, this is what the sprues look like. These are all little heads. It looks like these are backpacks or something, and they're all numbered. So when you're constructing, you know what bits you're going for. Various weapon options, arms, legs. Not that many legs, so. But most of your customization is going to be in choosing, I guess, what weapons to put onto them.
And their heads.
And their heads, yeah. So like I said, I chose Tau because aesthetically they really appeal to me. They are interesting looking warriors. They have a sort of mechanized trooper look to them. I had in the far, far distant past, I built some BattleTech stuff when I was a kid, and that's what these most remind me of, is BattleTech. A lot of their larger units obviously are giant armor suits, mechs basically. But I don't have anything along that lines in here. I've got a bunch of drones. I've got several squaddies, and I should have one commander. So I assume to give the commander a distinctive look, obviously, I'll probably go with no helmet for him. We will see. But I should probably just jump right in and start building something. So, Allie, do you want to say anything about how the Tau operate? Like, what are the Tau and what do they do?
So the Tau are
While you do that, I'm going to try and get this
Xenos
fixed.
faction in the Warhammer universe. So they are not sided with the Imperium, but they are not sided with Chaos either. They generally function for something they call the greater good. They try and thwart the Imperium's super religious zealots and convert people on planets to side with them for the greater good. They are a race of bipedal humanoid creatures that have fish-like faces and goat legs, much like a satyr. They favor heavy weaponry and long-range weaponry, as well as some stealth units. They are very fast when it comes to their flyers, and they like to stay at distance. Everything they have is very nautical. Like, their ships are called hammerheads and mantas, and their large, super large ships are tiger sharks and mantas. Generally, they choose to stay at a distance and fire from there. They have all their drones have different functions, whether that is being a shield drone and using a savior protocol to jump in the way of attacks for whatever unit they are with. Then you have drones that can shoot and are literally just gun drones. And you also have shield drones, gun drones, and marker light drones. The Tau have a thing called a marker light, which is essentially something you put on an enemy like a shot.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It's like tracer rounds. You target something, highlight it, and then it gives you benefits. So
Yes. And your entire army gets benefits.
Right.
Depending on
and the more marker lights you hit them with, the better the benefits. So if you're ganging up on somebody with marker lights, You can negate cover. You can, what are
Reroll
some?
ones.
Hmm?
The first one is
Oh,
to
reroll ones. Yep. Yep.
to hit, not to wound. Still pretty good. Deadly when used in large numbers.
All right, so looking at the instructions here, very conveniently, it says follow steps 1 through 3 for all variants. All variants, glue the legs onto their stands. So I need my stands. There we go. Got a whole bunch of them. And then I need to start clipping legs off and gluing them on. So I'll say, when I was doing the Star Wars Legion figures, this was the thing that gave me the most frustration, was gluing guys to stands. And I think, my theory is, it's because the Legion figures are 2 different types of plastic.
Resin.
Right. So these guys, the stands and the figures themselves are pretty much the same type of plastic. The Star Wars Legion guys are a little bit rubbery. I don't know. They're not resin models.
No, they're like Bones models.
Yeah, exactly. Though not that cheap. Bones plastic is exceptionally cheap plastic. All right, so I'm gonna have to take my glasses off for this bit. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna start clipping off some legs. We're gonna start gluing some legs to stands. So here's all my legs, and the instructions have them all numbered. So there's 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. 45 and 46 are 2 bits that have to be glued together to make those set of legs there. So let's find 40, and we'll clip that off, and we'll get started. There's 40 right there. So snoop, snip. And then, Allie, you say I should look at the mold lines after clipping it off, right?
Yes, you want to get rid of the excess sprue from where you cut it off, and you want to get rid of mold lines. Mold lines to look good, and the excess spruce that it actually glues together.
Right, because if it's got a little bit of a bit pointing off,
it will not glue right.
It will not glue onto the stand. So there's, oops, some legs. Here's a stand. And let's inspect these legs to see what kind of little doodads and bits. So these guys have sort of dew claws here, which I don't have to snoop. I want to keep those.
They're goat feet.
This is what Allie was talking about with the extra stuff on the foot, and I just need to snoop off without cutting my finger open, probably.
Probably smart.
I mean, I'm sure experienced modelers will have extensive calluses.
Oh yeah, lots of scars. Eventually you just learn to glue it closed. You keep going.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, if this is sticking out, then when I try to glue it to the stand, that's what's going to stick to the stand and not the actual foot itself. And in terms of mold lines, you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera here, but there's very fine lines here. The armor obscures it for the most part around that edge, and it comes down around this side of this foot here. So I'm just going to sort of, I don't have to do a lot, I just want to sort of make that smoother on that foot. I like their little toes. So this is something I've definitely noticed in my other modeling endeavors, is you start out, you look at these models, and because I did entrance in a couple of the Battleground modeling competitions. There we go. Nice. That mold line is pretty much gone. So I did entrance in a couple of the modeling. Oh, I'm reaching for my glasses and I'm not wearing them. Modeling competitions. And when you start work on the model, it's very. You don't realize what little fine details are molded into it until you actually get in and start with the painting. So, Allie, advice from you when gluing this guy to his stand here. Should I just put glue on his feet, or should I put glue on the stand as well? Like, what's the best way to get a good seal there?
Very tiny amount on both of his feet.
Okay.
And that is it.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I encountered when I was building my first figures is for the... They had bits where pieces inserted into other pieces, and I would glob glue in there, and then it would ooze out of the edges, and it made a disastrous mess.
You don't notice that stuff till you're painting it.
All right, so just gluing this fellow to his stand here. And, ooh, he took pretty well. So when I was doing the Star Wars Legion figures, this is what I was doing. I was putting them on the stand, and then I'd, you know, put them aside to dry, and they just fall right off. And I was like, why are you not glued? Why are you not standing? But that guy worked really well. That just a tiny dab of glue, and he is instantly attached.
And he will soon be melted to that.
So that's 40. Now I want 41. Rinse and repeat. Oh, there's two 40s. I guess I'll do both of them. I'm looking forward to getting to 45 and 46, where each leg is its own piece. So I chose Tau primarily for aesthetic reasons, as I said. Oh, gracious, those legs disappeared. But as I've researched them, I've come to the conclusion they fit my personal aesthetic as well. I love the idea of for the greater good and the sort of self-sacrificing. Ooh, here's an interesting. This has a bit of, oh, there we go. It had a bit of mold line, a bit of flash that needed to be trimmed away. So just getting a little mold liney bits here. I have to say I am very impressed by the design of these models, in that the mold lines are very well hidden, very cleverly hidden in the edges of the armor plating and stuff like that. So even if you don't go in and spend a lot of time trimming it, it's still going to
look decent.
Yeah, exactly. For an army of this size, and you know, for the amount of work that I'm going to be doing on these guys, I don't suppose it makes much difference. But Allie, where do you come down on the paint before assembly or paint after assembly debate?
I always paint after assembly, but it depends on the model. Knights are actually easier.
So your giant knight, you had somebody magnetize him so that you could get into the underneath and the crevasses and get in there and
so I put the entire
do the fine detailing.
Upper body and lower body together, and then I kept the arms and the shoulder plates off to paint them.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out later on that the best way to paint it is to not put any of the armor on. You just put the skeleton together.
I'm trying to find leg number 40 now.
But generally I find it's best to paint after it's assembled, and to leave off big parts that obscure everything else, like cloaks,
Mm-hmm.
and paint them separate and then glue them.
Yeah. So when I was doing Darth Vader for Star Wars Legion, I did leave his cloak. I painted his cloak and hood separate and then assembled them, which I think was definitely the right way to go. Because I could never have gotten a brush in underneath his cloak and gotten that detail done. That was loud.
Yeah, I'm turning it down. I forgot I hit it.
So I was unable to determine by looking at the box just how many pieces or how many dudes I'm likely going to be assembling here. Do you have any idea, Allie, how many guys are inside this box?
10 plus the leader guy plus the drones.
Okay.
You just gotta count bases.
Oh, good point. Good point. So that's reasonable. My goal for today was to get at least a couple completed so that for the next stream I can get started painting. Like, I want to get some guys built, prime them tonight or over the course of the next week, and then I can get started painting on stream next week.
What's our Twitch? Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv/Battleground Games Live. Hey, Thunder Speaks. How's it going? Welcome.
Hi, Matt.
Speaking of... Oh, Allie.
Yes.
You should talk about commissions, because that's a thing what you do.
He says my mic is really low.
Now, I turned you down because you were deafening me earlier.
Yes, I do commission painting. Prices vary by what the model is, based off of resources and how long it's gonna be. He can't hear us at all, I guess, or me at all.
Oh, well, there's definitely volume, so that's a problem on his end.
Yeah, I do commission painting based on the model and how long it's going to take and the detail level and resources needed to complete the model on a model by model basis. If you ever wanted to come to me about that, you can email me at spacewolvesfangirl@gmail.com because I'm a gigantic nerd.
Gotta love it. When she started working for Battleground, I asked her if she wanted to get an official Battleground email. And she was like, no, I'm just going to use Space Wolves Fangirl.
Sometimes I regret it, if you were wondering. But most of the time I don't, because it's super easy for my players to remember.
Obviously, I do not do commissions because that would be silly.
I have business cards at the Abington location, and if you need anything custom built, or, you know, just built in general, if you hate modeling like I do, my associate, Jerry Vandehay, does custom and commission modeling.
I'm really, really pleased with how minimal the flash lines and detail, the need to clear flashes. Oops, I put a lot of glue on that foot.
That's okay. It's plastic glue, not
that much
gap.
glue.
Yes, Matt, I do remember the time that I told you that I would never be able to paint. And here we are. Matt taught me how to paint for everyone.
Oh, awesome.
Tuning in.
I wish I had a better idea before gluing these down. I'm sure if I build more Tau, I'll get an idea. But for where the rest of this model is going to be, because I'm putting the legs generally towards the center of the stand.
That is always smart.
But I don't know like how much because a lot of them have like sniper guns and stuff like that they're going to be
Oh
holding
yeah,
out in front of them.
the pulse rifles.
So
that'll stick
how much
off.
of that is going to stick off the edge of the stand? I don't know. I feel like I'm making good progress. I've got lots of legs glued to stands already.
Padawan becomes the master. I still have a lot to learn from you, Matt. Don't worry.
So I want to learn to do magnetization and stuff. I've made some attempts, and they did not come out terribly well.
What did you do the first time?
So the Star Wars Legion figures, they come with some limited customization on a couple of the bits, a couple of the folks.
Yep.
And I did some, but not a lot. The walker has 3 different loadouts available to it. So I was like, I'll magnetize its gun. The problem I had was I chose magnets that were the same width as the gun base and tried to glue the magnet to the gun instead of magnets that were smaller than the gun base, so that they were actually encased entirely within the plastic. So that was a learning experience.
Yeah. Step 1 is always get small magnets and drill into the model.
Yep.
You can never stop learning.
Oh, I totally believe that. I mean, obviously I'm learning today because that's what this whole stream is about, is learning how to do something I've never done before.
The entire reason I think that I started doing commissions was because there were so many models that I wanted to paint, but I didn't want to start the army that was involved with it. But there's so many great sculpts and new techniques that you can learn from branching out. And like this knight is one of my favorite things I've ever painted because it's just been a learning process the entire way. Learning how to weather and do rust and certain types of shading, new techniques with the airbrush.
Yeah, I always love learning new techniques, discovering new ways to do things. I've done a little bit of experimentation on a project I was doing for some D&D minis with modeling with green stuff. And boy, that is tricky stuff to work with.
Oh, you're telling me it's like the one thing I can't do.
I mean, with practice, I'm sure it becomes easier. But immediately after you've mixed it, so anybody who hasn't watched before or isn't familiar with what green stuff is basically putty that you make by mixing blue and green mediums together. And as soon as you do, it becomes this massively sticky mess that is very, very difficult to work with. I'm not a natural sculptor to start with, and working with something like that, boy is it hard to work with.
I've done sculpting stuff, and green stuff is just its own unique material that sticks to your fingers and causes sadness.
So Paul Goffrin gave me some advice on working with green stuff, and that is have water. Well, sure, have water on hand, because if you put water on your fingers, you don't stick to the green stuff as much.
Oh, that makes sense. It's like working with meatballs.
So that was definitely helpful. I will say Paul Goffrin is a wealth of useful modeling information.
That is a fact.
And in general, all of the Battleground Warhammer community are excellent folk to go to if you have questions about modeling or painting.
I remember doing that in Gilliman. I had to go back to Nick Howe, who I'd always admired as a painter and still do, and got advice on how to do faces.
Who won that Gilliman? That thing was awesome.
Bill Morgan.
Awesome.
Matt says petroleum jelly is your friend when working with green stuff.
Oh, I can believe it. Oh boy.
He also says the earth magnets all have matching drill bit sizes, so just make sure you have the bit for the size of magnet.
So we actually sell now magnet drill bit boxes
Bundles.
that have the exactly. they have the magnets and the drill bits that correspond to them together in a blister.
That's smart.
I am up to leg number 43. 43, here we are. Nope, that's 44. This is 43.
Water is only a quick solution for smoothing. If you're doing the actual sculpting, use it. Oh, that makes sense. Use the jelly for sculpting and the water for just not for smoothing it and not getting it on your hand while you're moving it around. As for a session in Norton for painting, I am totes down, and we can talk about it tonight at game. So everyone, I find, when they start painting, has at least one person that they go to for like questions who they look up to in painting. And Matt is someone that used to come here all the time that now goes to our Norton store, and is an amazing painter and also does commission painting.
Yep, we've had him in chat a great deal while Amanda has been painting, so
yeah,
very nice to see him again.
And he took me on when I was like a young whippersnapper just learning to paint, and I was super impatient and convinced that I would never be able to paint well because I was impatient and I didn't understand the color wheel or how to build colors up. And I remember starting with one of the more difficult things when painting, which is building up fur from a black and up to a blue. And I retained a lot of the information afterwards.
Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Ortozone.
Yeah, and now playing Norton, they move closer. Yeah, I know. And now look at me, right? Yeah, I kept with it and always referred back to Matt, even when I was.
This guy is going to be a challenge.
Why?
He's only got 1 foot that's going to touch the base.
Oh yeah, your first hurdle as a modeler, Andy.
Yeah. So I better make sure this is flush before I attach it to anything.
Even doing the Gilliman that everyone loved, that Bill Morgan ended up winning, I referred back to Matt for like every step of the way and showed him progress pictures because, well, I was posting in the Warhammer community being like, hey, look at how awesome I am, I can paint things. In reality, I was like, oh my god, I'm going to mess up this super expensive model and it's going to look so dumb. But it didn't. It turned out great. And
if I could go to seal here. This guy needs to really stick well. The entire model is going to be held by the glue that I'm putting in right now.
That's why I love plastic glue, because it's going to be fully melted on there when you're done with it. It won't just snap off the base. I learned that the hard way putting Wolfen together, because they're all on 1 foot.
Okay, it's holding. We'll just put that guy aside to dry. I am, that was 43. 44 is kneeling, I believe, which means more contact with the base.
What's the baking soda method?
Baking soda method for modeling with green stuff?
I don't know, he said those plastics are fine. If the seal doesn't hold, use the baking soda method.
Oh.
Please enlighten, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Alright, so here's 44, kneeling. A little bit more in terms of flash lines that I need to remove there. But I'm already, just in the process of doing this, really looking forward to painting these guys. Because as I'm doing this, I'm seeing all these little details. I'm like, oh, that's going to be so much fun to paint. Like, okay, there's their armor bits. There's the pants, their trousers. And then they've got little elephant toes, which are awesome. I'm going to have a lot of fun painting those. And they've got those little dew claws sticking off the back there.
Tower's so freaking weird.
Oh, I love them. I'm so glad that I chose Tau as my first army. I think this is going to be a ton of fun to paint when I get to that stage, which hopefully is next week's stream. This week is assembly, next week is painting.
Matt says baking soda and Zap-A-Gap. It sets instantly and dries harder than coral.
Oh.
He's dropped models that use it on and they still broke, but not at the joint. The seal is insane using that method, and it can also be used as a gap filler that is sandable. Oh, that's awesome.
See,
I have to keep that in mind.
Amazing tips. Baking soda and Zap-A-Gap. Instant cement. Yeah.
So a tip that I'm going to imbue with you when you go forward painting, Andy, is when you thin your paints, use something other than water.
Ooh, okay.
So the best is actually like airbrush thinner.
I just wrecked that guy. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Fine. It's all fine. Airbrush thinner, I think, is the best. I have this Battleborn Ultra Flow that I use, that Matt got me when I first got my airbrush. And it makes the paint like airbrush thin, so it doesn't separate the same way as if you use water, and it doesn't, I don't know, the texture is just a lot better than just water.
Tore up the inside of this guy's knee when I was clipping him off there. It's fine because...
Just battle damage, it's fine.
Well, okay, so that is an excellent segue, Allie. One of my plans when I was thinking about color scheme, because color scheme is definitely something you have to think about, I was like, do I want to do my Tau in an interesting color scheme, or how do I want to do them? And I decided I'm going to do them standard Tau red and white.
The hardest colors to paint.
But I'm going to give them some battle wear to give them some character. So I'm going to maybe give them some bullet holes and some gore and some and that should excuse any, like you said, any errors that I make in their assembly. It's like, yeah, that's messed up, but it's just because they've seen some stuff in battle.
I found that weathering is one of the coolest things to do on a model. This is like the first time I've ever tried it.
Yeah.
But I learned that you can use... I have it with me, I think.
Okay, so I've got a problem here, Allie. There's more legs than there are stands.
Yeah, that comes with extra usually.
And I've just been gluing like mad. So, okay, let's find 45 and 46, because I think that's the commander, and I want to be sure I have him constructed.
So this
45.
stuff, this foam from all of the that you put models in, this is what they use for weathering. So you dip it a little bit in like a dark gray paint, and then you wipe most of it off, and then you put it on the edges, and it creates this effect so that it looks like it's chipping. And you can also add typhus corrosion and then rise of rust over it.
It's 45. Where's 46? It would be too easy if all the things were numbered in order, right?
Yeah. Yep. It would be way too convenient. Matt says that method of Zap-A-Gap and baking soda works even better on metal models.
Cool.
My little painter, all grown up. I need you to teach me more weathering, Matt. I'm like just starting with it, and I love it already, but I feel like it's a little bit sloppy.
Help me out here, Chad. I'm not seeing 46, which is the other leg. Here's 45. This is a 44, that's a 42. These are all arms and guns. It's not on that sprue.
Can I see?
Yeah.
You're looking for 45?
I'm looking for 46. There it is.
46.
46.
Yeah, it looks like you just have a bunch of extra leggies. Build the army list before you build models, especially for a new player. That way you know what you're building.
See, I should have done that.
It's not too late yet, because that only matters with the upper body. Yes, I would like to know how you learned weathering. Tons of pictures of rescue. That would make sense.
Yeah, I should have built my army list before I started constructing. Definitely would have been smart.
No time like the present.
Do it live on stream.
Seems legit to me. Totally forget I was wearing glasses and just scraped them across this lamp.
All right. So these are the two legs what go together.
Progresses and what?
How do they attach to each other?
Oh, that makes sense.
There's
I did not see the docket jet you painted for Sarah. Nate says hi, and
hey,
that the I'll give you a crap ton of leg options. The only thing that matters for the unit choice is the upper bodies.
Good, good. So I haven't completely mucked up yet. That'll happen later. All right. So just glue piece A into piece B here. There we go. Lovely.
What a lovely day.
Could have done a better job getting that mold line off. See if I can do it. Oh, wait. I'll come back to it. All right. This is my last small stand. So, Allie, if we were doing a slow grow style kill team league, would I build just the ones that I want for my initial team and then build more as I add or as I gain points to add more folks? That's how the slow grow works, right?
So
is it when you
kill team doesn't have that really as an option.
Oh, okay.
The games are only 100 points. That is like the only point denomination you can use.
Okay.
The only thing that changes is your command roster, which is the pool that you can pull from when you play in events, and it's changes based on if you're doing matched play or if you're doing a campaign. A campaign gives you a lot more dudes to pull from, whereas match play is a set roster of guys that you can pull from during it. But generally speaking, it's not like larger games of Warhammer 40k where you can do like an escalation league and continue to grow your models.
All right. I'm going to build my DS8 tactical support turret. So let's get all these legs out of the way.
I am patinaing a spot that I missed because I was tired.
So this DS8, let's bring this over here, has several bits that come together into this model here.
You can absolutely share with the class.
So I need 80 and 81, 78, 86, 83, 84, 85, 82. Okay, so So I start with 85 and 82. It's like Lego. I love it.
It is exactly like Lego. Some people find it like super relaxing and cathartic to build models. I am not one of those people.
Yeah?
I have like no patience to sit there and do it, and my models are super complicated. The ones that I choose to build, which are like Wolfen.
Yeah.
And it takes me 5 hours to put together a unit of 5 guys, and that's just a lot. It's a lot of time.
Brian Magnuson was building Necrons the other day, and he said it was taking him several hours per Necron. This was partially because Brian is so meticulous.
He's a perfectionist.
And he could not stand the flash lines, especially on the cheeks. Apparently, the heads of the Necrons
Yeah, they did it
have
wrong.
their cheeks on the where the sprues connect.
Yep, so you gotta
So
cut
he
them
was
out.
going in, cutting them off, and then spending like ridiculous amounts of time.
Sanding them down.
Yeah, sanding them down before even gluing the heads on. That's definitely not what this stream is about. I'm trying to find part 82 now. I've got 85. This is 86, 80, 84, 83. This is 82. Okay, there we go. I'm finding it fairly relaxing.
Instagram, that is the Docker Jet. Such rusty, much corrosion, so work. Can I ask why there is what looks like a Sunday cup on the Bits cup? If you
Oh,
pull
yeah.
the bits, they splash into it.
Yeah, that's the Bits Cup. It wasn't working on Friday. OBS has stopped communicating properly with the Streamlabs, which we use for the Bits Cup, but I can test it. We'll see if it works.
Instagram.
So we're getting the audio for the test bit, but yeah, the cup is not working.
Do you have the chat
That's
on your
frustrating.
phone?
I do.
Can I see it so I can pull up that Instagram picture?
Oh, sure.
I can only partially read from the monitor from here. I wish we were getting ice cream.
Ice cream?
Nate said it looked like he was just curious. It looked like somebody was getting ice cream.
I mean, it's hot enough out for it.
I know.
It
I
was
drove
60
here.
degrees outside when I came in this afternoon.
I drove here with my top down on my Jeep.
Oh my goodness. It's February.
60 degrees, man. Yeah, that rust is much better than mine is on the docket jet.
All right, so this is going to require just the teeniest, tiniest little dabs of glue. Because if I put too much glue in here, it's going to go everywhere. That's too much glue. That's fine.
It's fine, it's fine, we're all fine.
Everything's fine.
Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's fine.
So, I don't think anybody was under the impression that my first ever 40K armory would come out looking like amazing.
I don't know, I had some high expectations, Andy.
Did you?
No, not at all.
Did I set your expectations too high?
My expectations are always too high. What's Vallejo black red? I assume it's a paint.
Yeah. Already I've gotten glue on the outside of the model. But I successfully did not glue the model to my fingers.
That would be
All right,
difficult
so
with
looking
plastic
for
glue.
83, 84. Here's 84. And this is 83.
I should have grabbed a drink before I came up here.
It's not too late.
That's true. Nate can attest, though. We'll get thirsty and I just won't leave the desk for hours. I just deal with it.
So I was saying earlier how I feel like the Tau fit me not just aesthetically, but in terms of their general worldview. I will say the entire universe of 40K I find very depressing. The idea that there is never-ending 10,000 years of eternal war, that's bleak, man. That is exceptionally depressing. But I like the Tau in that they seem to be bent not just on dominating, although they do seem to have a certain degree of that.
Everyone does in 40K.
But their worldview is based around
the greater good.
Exactly, the greater good, trying to how do I get just enough glue on this without getting too much? Maybe I can run a bead.
Yeah, I usually use the tip of the plastic glue to rub it in, because unlike Zap-A-Gap, it doesn't dry to itself. If it does, you can just pick it off because it's rubbery.
There we go. But their whole purpose is expanding a area of sort of, I wouldn't say peace, but
Space communist fish ghosts.
yes, exactly. I appreciate them. If I lived in the universe of 40K, I would feel most comfortable being behind the wall that the tower building.
And yes, Zap-A-Gap does, or Zip Kicker creates a much weaker bond. It is faster, but it's so brittle. I try not to use it. Lately, I've been a responsible modeler, and I've used plastic glue as often as I can, which takes longer to set, but man, that bond.
Yeah. I'm appreciating it so far. None of my guys have fallen off the stands that I've glued them to.
So I recently did a commission of a demon, demon lord.
Yeah.
And I had to take its arms off in order to paint it, because it had been assembled already, but its arms were in the way. And I didn't realize they had used plastic glue, and I ripped off half of the upper body by accident.
Oh, wow.
Because plastic glue literally melts it to itself. And that was when I appreciated plastic glue, and that's why I use it now as often as I can. Oh, boys. All right, I'm going to grab a drink real quick. Andy, do you want anything?
No, I'm good.
Wait.
Me, you too. There we go.
Hoping to finish this guy today.
Nice. I'm hoping to finish these guys today. All right, so that's that. Can I just say, look at all this fine detail that is going to be completely obscured when I glue this into place, because that's going to be flush with the bottom of something. You'll be able to see it from the edge, I guess. It's going to be difficult to paint. I need 86. Which is this bit here.
That's why the Imperium hates them too much. How dare you give hope and prosperity to our people? It's a
Well, I'm glad that I've undertaken this project. I'm definitely going to enjoy painting these guys when I get to that stage. And then eventually, we'll play some games on stream.
Ooh. How should I get covered in acrylic oxide? Is my mic still muted?
Yes. Are you mic'd up?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You should be unmuted now.
Sweet.
Where's my headphones?
I know they don't have it in Norton because they don't have any Vallejo paints. I'll check the rack when I go downstairs.
Okay. Test. Okay.
Bye, Nate.
You're still very loud, Hallie. It's okay. Alright, so a little bit of trimming on this edge here and here. So I wasn't sure how many new folks we were going to get watching this stream. I figure 40K is popular.
Mm-hmm.
So I set a follower goal updating to 215, I think. We're at 199. I don't have anything special to do if we hit our 215 follower goal, though. I was thinking about getting cake, but I was running late today. Okay, so now I've got these 3 bits. How do they go together? So this one has a little notch there. I believe, yep, this is going to go right there. And then this little doobie goes where? Oh, it's an option.
Oh, we got another. Oh, you just put in the followers, right? That's what that is, that bot follow.
All right. So here's my first irreversible choice. On this turret, which is the DS8 tactical support turret, I can put this sextuple launcher or this 3-missile launcher. So what are the advantages and disadvantages to the two of those? Let's consult
the handy dandy rulebook.
the rulebook. Does it have, nope, this is just fluff. Maybe the cards tell you?
You're going to want to look at the actual core book.
Yeah, so let's look up the Tau.
Well, streaming what? This specifically or just in general?
Okay. Fire Warrior, Pathfinder, X5 Battlesuit, Drone.
What? Did I just knock off? Oh no, I lost another tail. So sad.
I've got some glue if you want to put it back on.
Nah, it's okay. A couple have fallen off the shoulder anyway.
Does this count as a drone? No. Ranged weapons, kill team drones. Is there an index?
For what?
For the various weapons?
No. Oh, it'll be just with your guys. Actually, I have a Tau Codex with me if you want to look at it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this has loadouts for Fire Warriors, Pathfinders, Fire Warrior Breachers, XV-25 Stealth Battlesuit, and drones.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything it's got in the Kill Team manual. So this turret that I am constructing right now, which is the DS-8 Tactical Support Turret, does not appear in here anywhere. So perhaps it is related to the terrain?
Well, it could be. That sounds about right.
So I guess I can put either one on there. It's not going to matter.
I think it's just the types of...
I'll put this one on because it's more interesting.
I kept telling him to get a store stream going for over a year, probably more like 2 years. Andy ended up being the one that really pushed it.
Yeah, and for me it's a matter of working it into my schedule. So I work 6 days a week, and I wanted to do something with 40K, and I just didn't have a convenient time to put it. So I decided I'll start coming in early on Mondays to do shipment, which is what I do for the store for the most part when I'm not behind the register. So I'll come in early on Mondays and do the shipment early, and then I can spend the rest of Monday building and playing 40K. And for our UK viewers, that actually works out pretty well in terms of timing, because that is, I scheduled it tentatively for,
They go with breachers.
for 1 to 5. Oh, they go with the breachers. Okay. I scheduled it for 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 6 to 10 p.m. UK time. So if anybody in the UK decides they want to watch live while I am building and modeling and painting my Tau warriors and eventually playing some games, it's a convenient time to do that after dinner, if they eat early, or during dinner, if they eat like a normal person. The other question is, should I magnetize this so it can rotate, or should I just leave it unglued from its base so that this gun rotates? I think I'll leave it unglued for now.
Yeah, I don't know which one I don't know what the difference is, but I know that they go with breachers and
Okay, so the Fire Warrior Breacher. Bonding Knife Ritual. Oh, there we are. DS-8 Tactical Support Turret is set up within 2 inches of the model. It accompanies when that model is set up on the battlefield. It is treated as a separate model but cannot move for any reason. If it is more than 2 inches from the model it accompanies, it is removed from the battlefield. It does not count as having been taken out of action. May not be specialists and are not part of the fire team and do not gain experience. But it doesn't tell me what the difference between the 2 loadouts is. So maybe it's aesthetic? I feel like
it doesn't have
40K
any
has a
attacks
very
in its profile.
WYSIWYG thing to it. So if something looks different, it probably is different.
That is very true. Ocean 8 was still watching, so that we could have an answer, because he would know.
So these guys go together like yaw. I'm going to leave this unglued so that this turret can rotate when I eventually build it. So we'll count that as done for now. And we'll build the turret base, which is 80 and 81. It's very easy to find because it's these big pieces here. So this is 80 and 81.
So I have to paint some leather on this dude, Matt. What colors do you suggest?
I was going to have music on this stream, but iTunes was being a butt. So, no music for us. There we go.
He's already super dirty. But yeah, leather. There's some leather straps on the storm shields that I glued to him unceremoniously.
Excellent.
Well, they're kind of ceremoniously on there. That's what I'm painting, everybody, if you were wondering.
It is so massive that it will not fit on the document camera that I'm using for this. You would not be able to see it if I tried to display it here.
Scale 75 leather and wood paints. I do not have those. I have the full line of Badger air paints, and I have most browns made by Games Workshop. Oh, I keep meaning I'm gonna share this. I shared this in the stream in my actual page, but I should share it in the Warhammer page.
How are we doing for time?
It's 2:23.
Okay. It doesn't feel like an hour and 20 minutes have passed. But there you go. Time does disappear when you're playing with models. All right, so these duders go together like yaw. Okay, very cool. There we go. I'm almost done with this turret. Ooh, then I get to build some drones.
I'm gonna bring this dude with me tonight to game, and I'll show you, Matt, how it's progressing.
There. Lovely. So there's my turret. Like I said, I'm going to leave that unglued. Oh no. Oh no. I ripped the base off by playing with it before it was dry.
Dun dun dun. How dare you?
Okay. So, oh no. I'm not even using that. I'll put it over here.
I have no sense of where my body is in space and time. I'm sorry.
All right. Drones. First step, choose the variant you want to build. So my options are MV1 gun drone, MV4 shield drone, MV7 marker drone, MV36 guardian drone.
Shield drones are dope. They're so powerful.
I have 2 drone bases and 4 drone holders, I guess. What do you call the little
Stands.
in different heights. I don't suppose the height matters that much. I guess the Guardian drone uses a shorter stand. I feel like I want one marker and one Guardian.
Because of this, you don't glue them to the stands. You could build all of them if you wanted.
Yeah. That's a good point. Oh, I see. So the way you can tell what type of drone it is, aside from the guns, is by what kind of ears it has. If the ears are on the left, it's a marker drone or a gun drone. If the ears are on the right, it's a Guardian drone. If it's got both ears, it's a shield drone. I don't know. I haven't played the game, and I haven't designed my kill team. But I feel like markers are the way I am probably most likely going to play.
Matt gave some advice in the chat.
Yeah, I'm ignoring that advice. I mean, my whole thing was I'm building what I think looks cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to
Also, you're not playing 40K, 40K
and a
yet.
Guardian.
So it's
Yeah, I'm playing
much more inconsequential at the moment.
Oops. Sorry, Allie.
How dare you? Shocked and appalled.
So yeah, I'll build one marker drone and one Guardian drone. It's like there's 3 different variant of ears for the drones, 87, 88, and 89. So I have to know which one I'm doing.
Now I can only ever
They all go
picture
with
those
90.
drones as dogs because you keep calling them ears.
Oh, sure.
Bork, bork.
Yeah, I can't build all the drones, Allie, because I only have 2 drone heads.
Oh no. That's super sad.
I'll get my 2 drone heads out. I mean, worst comes to worst, I build more.
True. Nate has a bajillion and one drones, to my great chagrin. So many.
I'm going to have to look up some naming conventions for the Tau Warriors themselves.
They have weird names.
I should also see if I can get some examples of Tau script so that I can give them like personalization in the form of like Tau insignia or stuff.
It looks very close to like Star Wars writing.
There were no decals in the box that I saw, so I guess Kill Team doesn't do decals.
I think Nate has a bajillion and one at home. I can bring in.
Okay, so there's 2 little heads and bases. I'll clip out a couple of these duders. Yes. Garbage, garbage.
I'm sitting right here, gosh.
All right. So the marker drone.
Oh, Matt's helping with some Tau names.
Oh, cool.
English and then Tau.
Cool. All right, so this is the base for the Guardian, and this is the base for the marker drone. The marker drone has an ear on its left side, and the Guardian has an ear on its right side. I don't know what the difference is between 87, 88, and 89, the three different types of ears. Let's see if I can find them on the sprues and figure that out.
Ew, this is so chunky.
Okay, here's the drone ears. 87, 88, 89, 89.
Alright, I have to paint a full wolf pelt.
87 is shorter than 88 and 89. Okay.
12 tails.
So the marker drone uses
13
87.
tails. Matt, do you want to help pick colors for them?
For the 13 tails?
Yeah, I have to do one pelt and 13 tails. Because I hate myself. Oh, actually, there's one color I'm missing that I could use. Gosh darn it.
So, Allie, were you here when Derek had Caden building his first ever Tau army?
No.
And Caden put 2 left arms on 1 Tau? He was just going too fast. He was just too excited.
Too hype.
This was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. So Caden was probably 6 at the time.
That's funny.
He clipped the sniper scope off of a gun when he was clipping it off of the sprue.
Of course, of course. That's an important step. Yeah, I think 12 of these tails, all the ones on the shoulder are going to be black. And then the ones on, I'll probably do the one on his knee brown, and then I have no idea what color I'm going to do the one on his crotch armor. I was thinking of white, but I have no idea how to paint white.
There you go. Cute little doggo.
Because they have all black because they happen to be on the shoulder pad that's red, and I already did. There's a wolf pelt on that shoulder pad as well, and I built it up from a red brown, and it came out good, but it blends in more than I'd like, so I don't want to do more reddish brown for the tails on her shoulder, so make them gray. I don't know how to paint white or gray. I don't know how to build up from that. I only remember how to do black from when you and I did it for a warp wolf, building up to blue. And I know how to do brown. Red brown, specifically. Hey, yeah, right? It's a good thing I do know somebody that knows how to paint those colors.
Look at all these nifty bits.
So a big thing about commission painting I've learned is that People don't understand that I don't know how to do everything. Like, it was taking me a little longer for a commission because I had to learn how to paint an entire army the right way. Because, like, they were Space Marines, but I don't know how to play certain unit or paint units because I don't play them. And, like, it's very specific on how to paint the weapons. And they were getting a little frustrated that it was taking so long, but if you want your army done right, you gotta remember I have things that I have to learn still, you know.
Nonsense. No learn, just paint.
No take, only throw. My dog Griffin knows that very well. Yeah, right. It's the amount of things I've had to look up in order to paint models is like insane.
Luckily, we live in an age of wonders, and the complete history of human knowledge is available in your pocket.
Except the, Library of Alexandria, but we won't talk about that. Still bitter about that, even though it happened so long ago.
So's Amanda. Okay. Marker and Guardian. Now I have to do their bases. Or, their gun ports, or whatever you want to call it.
Gotta love that plastic glue smell.
Alright, so for the marker, I need 94 and 95. There's 95. So my understanding of Kill Team is once you've built your minis, not all of them are used in any scenario. So when you go into a scenario, you choose from your available minis whatever you think is best suited to the scenario you're playing.
Yeah, you have a roster that is X number depending on what type of mission you're playing. And from there you pick your duders before you play a mission.
But you also get to give individual names to every squaddy. So everybody is very personalized.
Yes, outside of matched play, you can do campaigns and level up your guys with experience and give them new abilities, and they collect experience points.
That really appeals to me. I love that whole role play aspect.
Me too.
So you've run some Kill Team here in Abington.
Correct.
Were you just doing like different scenarios each Tuesday? Or was it Thursdays?
It was Thursdays, and it was basically like a combat patrol, but for Kill Team.
Okay. So you wrote up a little bit of fluff for each scenario?
Yeah. It went along. I actually had tied it into my combat patrol storyline. And I'm going to be running an arena-based thing in the future, which arena is the new Kill Team thing, and it is all about match play.
Some folks seemed really excited about arena. Oh, gracious, I took too much off with that little snoop. It's fine. Nobody's ever going to notice because I'll play this like once and then it'll sit in a box from then on.
My death card, I love Triggered by Oatmeal. The one Death Guard guy that I had to paint for someone, I had to do extensive research on painting guts and buy a bunch of new paints. I bought so many paints because of new projects that I've had to take on.
Oh, it goes on there.
And I kind of wish I had just bought the big Citadel kit in the beginning. But now I know.
It goes on like that. Lovely. There we go.
So, completely off topic.
Am I putting this gun on upside down is the question.
That's an important question.
Well, I got to decide quickly before it settles. So, no, this is right. Okay, good. There we go. And then this goes, this is the marker.
Of course, all that. If someone searched through my browser. That's gross. I just watch a lot of tutorials. Oop, I don't want to open the new black.
See, this is a case where I probably should have painted this before assembling it. Because getting in under here is going to be difficult. Too late now.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, I can't whistle. I have the mic on. Sorry. Sorry, everybody.
I feel like we should have a little celebratory fanfare or something. This right now, as soon as I glue this base on, is going to be my first ever fully completed, assembled 40K miniature. Ta-da!
Yay!
Seems wobbly.
One of us. One of us.
Gooble, gobble, gooble, gobble. There he is, my marker drone. He's going to let me re-roll some ones. Now, I'm doing a MV36 Guardian drone.
A method actor when it comes to painting. I need to immerse myself in the
97,
subject
98.
before putting down first coat. I just watch tutorials. Except with fur. I always extensively look at pictures of the aminals.
Aminos.
When doing fur. Like I have to do a what's it called? I'm doing a Custodes Army commission, and the guy with the really long name who's like their leader, whose name I don't remember, has a lion pelt. So I have to do some research on that, and also I'm gonna give him some peacock feathers. And
Amanda just had to paint some peacock feathers.
I saw that it came out really good.
Yeah. Can't get my clippers in here. I'm going to just have to cut this with the knife.
You would also just cut a piece of the sprue out that's blocking it.
I could.
Just be careful.
There. This mat already has cuts in it, so adding more is not going to be a major issue. Keep telling Derek he needs to get us more of these mats.
I wish we had some for the tables.
Yes.
Every time I go to the other two stores, I'm like super jelly. How come we don't have those?
Go.
Actually,
So the 97, I need 98, which is right there.
convenient. This is the first time I've ever painted in silence. Oh. Oh, I made a rookie mistake.
Uh-oh. And you did it live on stream.
I know. Evidence forever. I forgot to switch back the plastic for this paint so that it was fully sealed. So now there's nolac oxide everywhere.
Goes on there.
On my hands anyway.
Okay. Bloop, a little bloop of glue there.
Looks like I murdered a ghost covered in blue looking ectoplasm stuff.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
It's so chalky.
I need tweezers. There you go. Too late. Too slow.
I don't know if I have mine. I think they're at home. Yeah. I have every other tool if you need it.
So I love that I'm building this thing and I have no idea what it even does. Like, I'm building a guardian, sure. I at least have some vague notion what the tracers do.
Eyes up, Guardian. Wrong game.
A dream with Peter Dinklage in it last night.
You have the weirdest dreams.
Well, I mean, I was dreaming about Song of Ice and Fire. There we go. He looks pretty cool. Now, hopefully I haven't glued shut this hole because that's where his post goes. Oh man. A lot of glue. Oh crap.
What?
I'm a dumbass.
What'd you do?
I glued these guys onto their clear posts before priming them and painting them. All right, I'm pulling that. This guy, okay, there we go. He's okay. This guy might be too late. Nope, nope, it's coming. It's okay. Okay, I
Avoided
fixed it.
disaster.
Disaster averted.
My goodness.
Because obviously I don't want to spray paint the post when I'm priming the dudes.
Hot mess.
Problem solved. Okay. So, I've got a couple drones built. What's next? Strike team. Use matching parts. Okay. That's the instructions it gives me.
It's very specific.
Ah, they've got letters. So I've got A, B, C, D, E, F. All right, that makes sense. Whole bunch of head and torso options.
Sounds about right.
So Allie,
Andy.
head options.
Yes.
From a gameplay perspective, does it make a difference
It does not.
if I use a helmet or use a bare-ass head?
No difference at all.
Interesting. I think most of my squaddies are going to be helmeted, but my kill team leader is going to have his head out.
Makes sense. Fun fact about helmets. The Space Wolves generally don't wear them. because they have heightened senses from their canis helix being wolf-related. And in game, it has no real effect, but they do have helmets that are shaped like wolf heads that canonically are designed so that they can wear a helmet and still use their heightened senses, which I think is pretty cool.
So what did we say uses that turret that I built earlier? That was a breacher?
Breacher team.
Fire Warrior breacher.
What else are you making? The strike team also uses them. At least in Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, the Fire Warrior can use the D8 tactical support turret as well. So I have instructions here for Fire Warrior, Sasui, or Shasui. Fire Warrior doesn't say anything else, just strike team. Breacher team. Fire Warrior breacher team. And then they've got a bunch of codex rules with weapons options and stuff. It tells me that any model may replace their pulse rifle with a pulse carbine. Fire Warrior Shasui may take a Marklight pulse pistol to replace pulse rifle with pulse pistol. But it doesn't tell me which is which in the illustrations. So how do I know what's a pulse rifle, what's a pulse pistol, and what's a marker?
Let me see.
So this is obviously an area where an experienced 40k player would be able to just look at that and say, oh, hey, yeah, that's a marker, or hey, yeah, that's a pulse pistol, or pulse rifle. But me, I look at it and say, well, okay, that's a gun.
Usually in the instructions it'll say the option for the weapon, and then it'll show which numbers it is. But I think we're going to have to maybe refer back to the Tau Codex and find a picture of the weapons. Matt wants to know if you found his names helpful.
I mean, I'll probably go back into the chat and look at them. I didn't look at them a lot while I was constructing stuff. Just gluing my turret onto a base, which I didn't do yet.
All right. Well, this is a pulse blaster. The small one.
Okay, so let's...
A pulse rifle I know is longer.
Mm-hmm.
A longer version of that, because that's like pretty standard. And what was the other one
called? Do you have a pen?
No. Wait, yes, actually I do.
Let's just label them here in the instruction manual. Okay, so this thing here, I have two options for...
The longer one is the pulse rifle.
Pulse rifle. Then this shorter one with a sort of a thing on the bottom of it. This shorter one here.
Are the only options those? What are the options? Pulse rifle, pulse blaster, and what was the other one? You're always a troll, Matt, to be fair.
And then they've got pistols. They've got 3 types of pistols. Although maybe it's only one type of pistol and there's different poses.
Yeah, those all look like the same weapon.
Yeah.
It looks like there's just pulse blasters and pulse rifles.
So what's this thing with the... Can I see the...
Yeah. That's
Where's the gun? The loadout. Okay. Alright, so this here... Illustration 12 here, with the little thing underneath it. I don't know. It's not an ion rifle. It's not a driver cannon. Oh, I know. Hang on. Thanks. I'll look at the cards. I'll look at the cards that came with the kit. Oh, that's the terrain. Maybe they have illustrations on the cards. Probably not. That would be too easy. Ah. I mean, my other option is just build what I like and find out what it is later. Yeah, the cards do not have illustrations. That's fine. Everything's fine. Oh. That's fine. So I'm just gonna build some dudes, not even care what their loadout is. I'll build a variety of dudes, and then later on, I'll find out what I built. How's that sound?
Fair. Fair enough.
So I've got a bunch of legs here. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excuse me.
Okay. I should probably do the last stage of bone color. Where the heck did it go? How did I lose an entire color?
All right, so they have 4 essential rules, a strike team and a breacher team that you can build. Both of them are 4-person teams. I don't even understand this stuff.
Well, I can't exactly hold up the model. It's too big for the tiny camera.
So I'm just going to start building guys at random. That's my solution to this issue.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Just go for it.
Exactly. So let's start with some Fire Warrior Chassui. We'll do
Fire Warriors
5.
generally have the longer pulse rifles,
Okay.
if that helps at all.
I'm going to start by building, so this is 5, Fire Warrior. So I guess I can choose any combination of arms to go with the torso, like various poses.
Yep. Nate says, strike teams have long-range pulse rifles. Breachers have short to mid-range laser shotguns.
Okay.
Thanks, honey.
So then, Nate, what is that? Is that a laser shotgun? I've got this as an option. I've got this. These are the long-range pulse rifles. Yeah, I'm just going to build stuff. I don't even care what they are. Don't even care.
Give 0 hex.
Yep. If they turn out to be not viable as an army, that's fine too, as long as they look cool. Thank you, Allie. All right, so these are all torsos, and they are all identical. Everybody's torso is a 2, it looks like, regardless of what pose they're in.
He says he can't see. There's only one camera on the thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I wasn't on Zoom cam. So I'm going to go with the torsos here. But yeah, for guns, I've got a whole bunch of options. I've got these must be the shotguns. These must be the rifles. I feel like, yeah, there's pistols, but those are mostly on the hip. We'll see.
He's using plastic glue, Nate. He can't just break them off later. So they'll be melted to the model. Ya ding dong.
So we start with 9. Here's a torso. We'll choose some random legs to go with that torso. We'll use these legs here. And choose a head. I'll use a head with a helmet.
He sent the picture of a pulse rifle. I know what a pulse rifle looks like, you ding dong. It's the longer one. And it's like the only picture in the book.
There's a head. They have a whole bunch of options for antennae. I don't think they have any practical difference. It's just aesthetic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use antennae number 39 on this guy.
Nate, what are you doing?
This is definitely working on a tiny scale.
Yes, it is. I've watched Nate plenty of times get super frustrated because they're so tiny.
So this glues onto where? Here's the helmet. It's got a tiny little dot there for an antenna. So I'll just dab a touch of glue on there and hope that the antenna goes on.
Hope for the best.
Yep. Hope for the best. Plan for the mess. I put way too much glue on there.
fine. It's fine. It's all fine.
Nope. I put that on the wrong side of his helmet. I put his antenna on facing forward instead of facing back.
Oops.
Oops. There's, you know.
It's fine. It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. As long as I'm having fun, right?
Exactly.
There we go.
In the end, they are just plastic army men.
There. Okay, that head has a antenna on it. Okay. Now, for this configuration, I need 47, a backpack to stick on the back of his torso. Oh, there we are.
This is a pulse blaster, Kate says.
Okay, cool. Pulse blaster. I find it odd that they didn't specify that in the instructions, so you wouldn't know what you were putting on your guy. But there you are. Yes. Got another 2 hours or so.
Just keep swimming.
I'm having fun. Are you having fun, Allie?
I am getting a lot of painting done.
Excellent.
I'm having fun watching you. I wish I wasn't painting.
I wish I were painting, but that's next week's stream.
I'm just a procrastinator when it comes to painting.
Okay. So, glue this onto the back of the torso there.
Oh no!
What'd you do?
I got. Remember how I spilled all that patina?
Yeah. Is on the base?
It's all over the bones that I just spent a long time painting up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Allie.
This is why you seal your paint the correct way, kids.
61.
That's disappointing.
And that was like an hour ago, so it's well and truly dried by now.
Oh yeah, nice chalky Nihila oxide texture. Feel that. It's super chalky because of the type of paint it is. And there's no way to get that off. I just gotta repaint several layers of paint.
Sorry.
It's okay, it happens.
I'm looking for 60 and 61, which it looks like is a vibroblade knife or something glued onto his backpack. Or maybe it's like a little flag. 67. There's 61. Now I need to find 60. So many bits. I'm not seeing it. I never would have anticipated, before opening my first ever 40K thing, that the thing I would spend the most time doing is searching the sprues for a specific number.
Sometimes you think you're going crazy because you just can't find it. Like, it has to be here. Especially like really, really tiny parts that end up looking like sprue pieces.
Ah, yeah.
Several hours in, you're just not seeing straight.
So this Chasui member of the Fire Warrior Strike Team seems fairly unique. So I'm actually not going to give him this helmet. I'm going to give him an unhelmeted head. Which is head number 3. There we go. Perfect. Oh, I like that. The sprue attachment is right on the top of his head, like the most visible place on the entire model.
Because where else would they put it?
So he may end up with a little dent in the top of his head there. That's fine.
Battle damage.
Yeah. Let's give him an antenna. Here's my antenna array. There we go. Not to cover his entire head with glue.
Probably smart.
Go. Looks so grim. I do love their faces.
They're quite fishy.
Yeah. Okay. So 60 and 61 get attached to his backpack. These are these guys here. So 60. Which does look like it's a blade. I was right about that. It's glued to the side of his backpack here. there's no like guides for that. It's just sort of glued on there. There we go. And 61 is going to go right in there. Okay. Like this. Ah. My hands are too big. There we go. Okay, so that backpack's got some character. See, that blade is going to be fun to paint. Look at that. It's got little details there and there. Okay. And then that goes on to some legs. Off. We'll let gravity hold that in place for a little bit while I research some arms for him. All right, so that's 5. Oh no, knocked him right over.
Man down.
So I've got this torso on. Now I have a whole bunch of different options for his arms on the side. So we could have a little pistol, we could have a old shotgun, we could have a big old rifle. Looks like there's one that's got like a grenade. So because I'm not caring at this stage about what he actually does, I just can put on whatever I think is coolest. I'm going to give him something like that, 51. That's 15. Nope. Two, 51, there we go. Anything going on in chat? Another option is to do a long rifle and hand holding it, which would be pulse rifle A, B, or C. Let's do 11 and 13. I do like how many options there are.
GW focuses a lot on the ability to customize your dudes.
Yeah, so I'm not necessarily doing any actual sculpting, but I still get to choose his pose and, you know, his loadout. I guess it sells more models because if you want to change it, you're going to have to buy more plastic.
Reason they call it plastic crack. Same reason I own 20 Wolfen. This is so bogus.
Okay. Let's glue them arms on. Yep. A goes with A. Little glue filaments here. Okay. Go. Excellent. Look at that, chat. It's like I know what I'm doing. I don't.
Fake it till you make it.
Let's put his head on.
So mad at myself. I can't believe I got all that blue on there.
This guy's gonna be so much fun to paint. Okay, so making progress. There he is with his big old rifle, his backpack with its blade and all cool little bits. I'm quite happy with this so far. All right, now itty bitty personalization. It says give him a shoulder pad, that's 50. Here's all 49 shoulder pads. Oh, there we are. Here's 50. I will say, this is making my hands feel enormous.
That's fair.
How does this shoulder pad even go on? Okay, just glob some glue on there and stick it on. Trust the glue. There. Good enough. Good enough. Looking good. Now, whole bunch of different options for a sidearm. Oh, or they have, I don't know what 99 is, but they have this additional option for sticking on the top of a rifle. I'm gonna give him, what do you think, chat? Should I give him a belt pouch? Should I give him multiple belt pouches? Should I give him a pistol on his hip? I don't suppose this is just purely aesthetic, right?
Purely aesthetic. It's whatever you want to paint the most, essentially.
Ooh, good point. Yeah, so I'm going to go with the multiple belt pouches, 76. This is going to be something itty-bitty, isn't it?
Most likely.
Oh, here we are. There with the antenna, there's all these little, it's like ammo belts. I'm looking for 56. No, 76. There we are. Found it. glue. That's fine. Glue my fingers to each other. Yeah, man. You can do it. I've glued the piece to myself, not the model. That's exactly what I intended to do.
Test fit.
Having some trouble getting the orientation that I want on this. There we go. All right, so we are 2.5 hours into this, and I have built my first Tau warrior.
Woo!
There he is.
In all his
belt
glory.
pouch and his shoulder pad, his long ass gun. He looks awesome. Yeah. 1. And I've got my drones. So I've got a pair of drones built. And I've got a turret built.
Slow and steady.
Yep. There's my turret. All right. Let's build another dude.
I'm only now being conscious of the fact that I put my face up against the lamp when I paint really small details.
Yeah? Is it nice and warm?
No, it's actually cold. It's just gives me the best view of it, I think. And it helps keep me steady. I'm just weird. It's fine. Will you mute me for a minute so I can blow my nose?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm having fun. I'm definitely enjoying myself. So, I need a backpack for a dude. I'm going to just build some fire warriors. Ooh. So there's a backpack. Grab some legs. There's some legs. I'll make this guy crouching. Need a torso, which is number 9. So going into this, I had no idea how much customization was possible. Like, I kind of thought, yeah, you'd have different classes of warriors, but I didn't realize that within each class there was so many options. And that's pretty cool. That's my biggest takeaway so far. A little frustration that I wasn't able to figure out what guns were what, but if I had been doing this properly, I would have planned ahead of time instead of just diving in and building some dudes. I would know what I'm building. Torso backpack. Give him some arms. With 22 and 25. There. That's the shoulder that's going to have a shoulder pad, so I don't care that much about getting that clean. However, I would like clean. Gonna give him belt pouch 77. Okay, getting the hang of this now. Okay, got all my bits. Now let's glue them all together. His head doesn't want to attach to his torso. There we go. Oh, I need a shoulder pad for him.
I once assembled an entire unit of Terminators and didn't put their shoulder pads on. They looked very tiny.
Lovely. Takes some dexterity to get the bits to go together right.
Your phone says you have low battery.
Uh-oh. No battery.
Harry baby. Harry baby.
I may have a solution to this problem of a low battery for a phone. There used to be a charging brick down here. Nope. I don't know where it's gone. It's around somewhere, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of little crevices to get paint into.
Yes, that is true.
But that's a problem for future me to deal with.
True.
Come on. Let's go on there, pouch.
Go to your home.
Looking good. Here's a little generic Tau Fire Warrior for you.
Can we tell you about our Lord and Savior, the greater good?
Who's next? I'll build another Tau Warrior. Do one with 53.
Rest in peace, first pot of Nuln Oil that I spilled most of. I've spilled every pot of shade I've ever bought. It's a problem.
So I'm doing this guy standing there, screaming and loading a clip into his rifle. Like you do.
As one does, yep.
All right, so got a bunch of bits here. Well, I certainly have created a lot of plastic dandruff here. it would be incredibly amusing if this random squad of random weapons stuck to dudes actually turned out to be a effective squad. I don't anticipate that being the case. This is where my lack of foresight and planning gets me. Darn. This, there we go. There's a stubborn bit of mold line there. Okay. Now let's put all these pieces together into a dude. Oh, I didn't grab a torso. I've got all the bits that go on the torso, but no torso. So my homework between now and next week is to learn a little bit more about how this game works. And sort of plan out how I'm going to use this squad. I'll probably I'll build like 2 more guys today. And the remainder of the uncompleted guys I'll work on in between after I've learned a little bit more about the rules, which is what I should have done from the start, is build guys to meet the demands of my squad rather than build guys I think look cool. I guess I don't really care about doing well at playing Kill Team. I'll play a couple of games, I'll have some fun. Doesn't matter to me if my squad is not terribly relevant or good. Okay. Now, put all these little bits together. Put an antenna on this head. This is the correct head. This is not the correct head. I need head number 1. Once you've got all the bits cut out, it comes together relatively quickly, I feel.
I would agree with that statement.
There's a lot of personality to these models. Which I guess is the point.
Yeah.
Especially with Kill Team.
You kind of have to, and each guy's their own individual person.
Yeah. Now, when you're doing a full 40K army, do you go for individuality in each model, or do you do like batches of guys who are all basically identical?
I really think it depends on what army you're playing and what unit you're talking about. Like, when I build my Space Wolves, when I do a troop choice of Grey Hunters, which are like just basic tactical Marines, they all end up coming out pretty cookie cutter, but there's not a whole lot of variety. But when I do Blood Claws, which are my Assault Marines, which are also a basic troop choice, they're super individualized because none of them wear helmets.
So each of them is their own person, really.
Yeah, and I mean, I have one of the Space Wolves are one of the most unique, flavorful Marine armies that you can get. Because if you're talking about Ultramarines, they're basically all the same. And then you look at Orcs and Xeno and like other Xenos, and they're pretty similar, like Tyranids and Orcs, most of the Tau. It all depends on what you do with them, really.
Yeah.
You can make anything unique as long as that's like your goal.
You're starting work on the base?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to do this piece right here, a Manufactorum Red. And I wanted a little bit of a break from all the stuff on the guy, because right now it's just all detail work, and
yeah,
it's exhausting.
So are you going to get a chance to play this soon?
The night?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. I'm trying to get him done because I have a big game on Wednesday.
Ah.
Up in Saugus. And I believe my partner is borrowing him for the doubles event.
Cool.
This month.
All right, now I'm dropping stuff.
All part of the process.
So do you ever drop like a shoulder pad and be like, well, that's gone forever?
All the time.
Just clip a new one out.
When I'm putting together the Wolfen and their feet paws are separate, I've dropped a handful. I'm like, all right, well, that's gone forever.
Let's put this on totally upside down, shall we? Well, having gotten through the bit where I had to figure out how all the pieces go together, I feel like I'm moving much faster now.
Oh, definitely. Like, you find your groove while doing it. Get out of here, nerd.
Don't say that on stream.
I apologize.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Okay. Putting stuff together.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got. Oh, is that the Titan that you've been working on?
Yeah.
Hi, Billy.
Hello.
Yeah,
That
so
looks nice.
I am building my first ever 40K models, so I'm putting together some Tau.
Ah. Nice.
And I've got a couple of fire team dudes. That's a Chasui fire team commander. And now, for my next trick, Breacher Team. They've got nothing but shotguns. Shotties for days.
Yep, they're pretty close to mid-range oriented. All in the name.
On the shoulder pad,
So I'll make a sweet Breacher.
Is that freehand or is that?
That's freehand. I actually have that tattooed on my leg.
Fine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's a Viking symbol. It's called a Big Vizier. It's
Nice.
to always find your way no matter the storm you're in.
Okay. I didn't know if you freehanded that or if that was actually like a thing. That looks nice.
Thank you. I freehanded it and then realized I needed more room halfway through. So it's awkwardly long at the bottom.
That's alright.
So there's so much gray on this dude because that's like, Space Wolf colors.
Yeah.
Or at least mine are. So I thought that painting the terrain on the bottom
Gray.
would be bad.
Yeah, it would be kind of monotonous.
So now it's Manufactorum colors, so it's going to be bright red and like really stand out. Except for
And then you're going to have
thing.
some snow and stuff.
Oh yeah, yep. I got to paint everything else before I can do that, but that is like the end goal, is to put Valhalla Blizzard on the base. I bought it, it is ready, but we ain't quite there yet. Getting there though, getting there. I don't know why I put his torso back on. Stay over there.
I am definitely looking forward to getting started painting these.
Heck yeah. So bright.
You can turn the light off. Oh, you mean
The paint,
is
yeah.
bright.
It's such a sharp contrast to all the gray.
Okay, I need a torso. I need a backpack. Fire Warriors have different backpacks. 48, and the Shisui gets a 61 fin on it.
Keep going to reach for my airbrush to like
Touch
dry
things up. Oh,
to dry it. 'Cause
Ah.
I'm so impatient.
It's a clever trick.
Yeah, it's super helpful when waiting for shades to dry.
So how extreme would somebody have to be in misconstructing their guy before you would say it disqualifies it from the table? Like if I put the wrong backpack on a breacher.
That's inconsequential. It only matters when you're talking about tournament level play, really. Or, I mean, depending on the casual game, if you grossly misconstrue the weapons they have, that's pretty bad. Your opponent has to be able to identify what your guy's got going on. Like, if you say, I think it's going to be super cool to put 2 knives on this guy, but really he has a pulse rifle. That's not how that works. You can't do that. You can get around that by just making sure it's on the model. Like, I have some Wolfen that have storm shields strapped to their back instead of them holding them. And that, you know, allows me to make them super cool looking, but also WYSIWYG.
Right. I guess I can only construct one Shisui. So I think I only have 161. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Breachers definitely have different heads than the strike team do. There we go. Breacher heads are number 2. A reminder for chat, when we are concentrating super hard on something and being super quiet and what all, if you want to get our attention, just toss a bit at the stream and it'll make a cool noise and we'll know that somebody is trying to get our attention and look up to see what's going on. Because I realize I'm spending a lot of time being very quiet now, as I'm concentrating on getting these guys right. Okay, so I've got some trousers, torso, backpack. These are breachers, a breacher head. Let's get a shotgun for him. Let's get 52 and 56. For his arms. Can't decide if there's any rhyme or reason to the order in which things are on the sprue, if it's just where things fit best.
I've found that it seems to be in larger packets, things that happen at like the same time.
Looking for, there we are, 52. Got a shotgun. Okay. So, torso, backpack, head, left arm, right arm. Something to stick on his waist and a shoulder pad. Do they use different shoulder pads? They do. The Breacher team has different shoulder pads too. Okay, got all the bits for this guy. Let's trim off all the dross.
Oh my god, what is that noise?
I believe Billy is playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a very distinctive menu system sound.
Nate only ever plays with headphones on. Wah, wah. The noise, specific noise is going to be in my head all day. Wah, wah. Wah, wah.
Okay. Oh, is my paint solidified, or my glue solidified? It is certainly acting like it.
I got nitric oxide all on my phone.
Oh, gracious. Got everywhere.
It did. Did indeed.
There we go.
Time to dry brush. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Neither have I.
I've never painted Manufactorum stuff, but here's to not making it too terrible. Oh, that looks pretty nice, actually.
Man, I'm getting glue everywhere now.
Hmm?
It's because I'm speeding up.
This straight up looks like blood.
Make sure that I'm putting his shoulder pad on right side up rather than upside down. Not that I think people would, I mean, might look a little odd.
You would know.
I would know. I'm the only one who would know. And everybody in chat would know.
And other Tau players might know, if they took the time to look.
Yeah.
Alright.
Nate would probably notice.
Nate's not very observant. Let's see. I think I want... No. I'll just stick with this. I'm talking to myself. It's fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
I could do I could shade these entire things in Agrax Earth Shade and then re-go over them with another dry brush. Or I could use the pinkish red wash I have and just do the insides of these little thingies. I forgot I had this wash because I literally just got it. Careborg Crimson, for all you that are wondering, over a red Manufactorum chunk.
That guy's torso is not terribly well attached to his legs. There we go. There we go. That's better.
Sounds like a painful condition.
Yeah, right? Alright, so there's my first breacher. He's got a couple little shotgun shells in his left hand, because apparently laser shotguns take shotgun shells.
He just carries them because they look cool.
Let's do one more. Do I have time for one more? I have time for one more. legs. Get a torso. I'm getting the hang of this.
They grow up so fast.
Get a head.
I haven't used this wash much, but I really like it. Like, a lot.
And 21 for the arms. We'll need a shoulder pad. Antenna. And need something for his waist.
I think I want to try and create like a rust bleed into the snow near his feet, because that's exactly what would happen in real life.
Ah.
I have no idea how to do it, but I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Okay. Oh, gracious. That one got away. And of course, it's a gray carpet, so it's going to blend. Well, awesome. So, when did I start this one? It was like 1/4 past. It's taken me 15 minutes to get everything clipped out and mold lines removed to my satisfaction. I'm looking forward to painting their little Tau helmet faces with these little dots, the eyes. Those look like a lot of fun to paint. Somehow I've gotten glue all over my fingertips.
It's part of being an artiste.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Slowly getting the hang of getting these guys that have their guns in both hands together.
That's where that assembly handle is really good that you got.
There's going to be so much fine brushwork involved in doing these fellows.
That is the truth.
Oops, I'm putting his backpack on backwards. There we go.
Everything would just fall out. I really like how that Manufactorum stuff came out. This piece isn't done, but the rest is.
Yeah, it definitely gives it some contrast.
So beautiful. I love how gritty the rusty stuff feels too. did I even manage that?
Trying to stick these extra cartridges on the side of this. I do need tweezers. Did you have tweezers?
I do not have tweezers. They are
Okay.
home on the desk.
Okay.
I forgot to put them back in that thing.
Okay. I'll do it without.
Use your painting handle, you ding dong. That's what it's for.
There.
I totally committed a cardinal sin of painting today.
What'd you do?
I'm using a brush that's not completely dry to dry brush.
Oh.
Like I'm making it work, but it's not ideal.
All right, so I have built 5 guys. I've got some extra torsos and heads and stuff. These are garbage. Let's review. Just trying to cap my glue so it doesn't dry out. There we go. Good. All right. So I've built this turret. I left this piece unglued so that I could rotate it. I don't know if that's necessary, but I felt it was cool. I built 2 drones. Where'd my other drone go? There. That's the top of the turret. Oh, there we are. 2 drones. And I've built 5 squad members here. So I feel like that was a productive day. Built all these cool little dudes. And next week, if you join us at 1 p.m. on Monday afternoon, not only will I have music so that we won't be playing in utter silence, and Allie, your face is completely obscured by the lamp again. Next week, I'm going to be putting a base coat on these guys that I've built today. So I will prime them sometime between now and next Monday.
Someone said hi.
Oh, howdy.
Hello.
How's it going? Right at the very end of this stream. But yeah, next Friday, next Monday, I'm going to be putting a base coat on all of these guys. So that'll be very fun, I think. And then the following Monday, I'll be doing detail work, getting in with the brush to do some sort of fine detail work on them. And the Monday after that, I hope to actually play with them. So I have to actually read the instructions and learn how this game is played. We'll figure it out. So Robot Crash, thanks for joining us. This will be up on the VOD, and of course, eventually on YouTube. But my name is Andrew, and I'm building my first ever 40k army, or at least a kill team squad. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. It definitely, so some takeaways, right? So for anybody who's watching, if you decide you want to build yourself a 40k army or a kill team squad or whatever, definitely figure out what you're building before you actually start clipping stuff off the sprues. That was the biggest takeaway for me from today's session, is that I figured they would have instructions. You know, it would say, okay, so for this type of squad member, you know, for this type of loadout, build this. But it is much more open-ended than that. So it gives you a lot of options, which I love, but it doesn't give you a lot of direction. So if I'd known that before I started, I probably would have been better off. But I just sort of dove in, and we got to that point where I was like, okay.
No regrets.
No regrets. I had no idea what I was building. I just built things that I thought looked cool, which, to be fair, was my entire line of attack when I decided to do Tau in the first place. Was build cool stuff, paint cool stuff, and maybe it'll be fun to play. I hope so. We'll find out.
No orcs. Andrew is putting together Tau, and I'm painting a Space Wolf Knight.
Yeah, we had no orcs today. There's definitely some orcs players in Battleground, though.
Plenty. In all of the communities.
So yeah, next Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, so that's 6 p.m. UK time, I will be starting to apply a base coat to these cool little dudes that I built today.
Are you going to prime off camera?
Yeah, I'm going to prime off camera. I am going to prime in white because it's cheaty face, and it makes it a lot easier when there's a lot of white on the models. Then I can just do detail work over the white primer instead of having to go from a gray or a black to white, which would take coats after coats after coats after coats.
I think gray might be a better idea, because you're going to build dark to light anyway, so it would give you an easier time, actually, because then you wouldn't have to paint darker over the white. Something to consider.
Yeah. In the meantime, I think we are wrapping things up for today. So you collect orcs. If you come into the Battleground locations, of which there are 3, there's one here in Abington, one up on Route 1 in Saugus, Massachusetts, and one down in Norton, Massachusetts. I am 100% certain you can find somebody who can help you with collecting your orc army. And we have like bit boxes and stuff that have spare bits. Thousands of spare bits. So yeah, orcs are pretty awesome. Like I said, I chose Tau because I wanted something. I wanted to call back to my BattleTech roots, because I did used to build BattleTech way back in the day, and Tau definitely have that feel to them. So yeah, my takeaways: a lot more customization than I was expecting. When I first opened the box, so I should have prepped better for that. But that's fine. I have 5 more bases that I have not ruined, and I can build more guys if I so desire. I'm sort of locked in on the 2 drones that I built, so I don't have a lot of rebuilding options on the drones. But otherwise, you know, sky's the limit. I could build more guys. Also, the first guy I built took probably 45 minutes or so to find all the bits, figure out how they went together, and actually assemble him. And by the end, It was going much faster because I had a better idea of how the Tau troopers were going to go together. I knew I needed a torso and a shoulder pad and a head and an antenna and a backpack, and I could just grab all the bits that I needed, trim them adequately, and assemble it, and it went much faster. So I accelerated as we went, and I can't wait to apply some paint to these guys. They are so incredibly awesome. So thank you, folks, for joining us. This has been Newplay 40K. On this Twitch channel, Battleground Games Live, we will be back on Friday when we'll be playing board games. This Friday, we will be playing 2K, or K2, which is a mountain climbing game that looks interesting and fun. I will be back on Monday to paint the Tau Warriors that I assembled today. And keep an eye out, because we are going to be scheduling a D&D stream. We're going to be playing some D&D in Ravnica on stream on Sunday afternoons. It's going to be a monthly program, and that's going to be starting later this month. So lots of awesome streaming happening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye, everybody.